Hello, hello, you beautiful soul, and welcome back to another episode of Loving Life with Court. Today, we are talking about a life that is loved, but in need of a big change. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about this today. So, as the summer is slowly coming to an end, and I feel like the pace of summer is just go with the flow, enjoy every moment, soak up the sun. I feel as though it's our innate nature. If you went to school in September, like many of us did, that September comes and we feel this need to just take our life back, do all these big changes. Maybe you put on a few pounds over the summer and you want to get back in shape. You slacked at the gym. Maybe you want to catch up with your finances. You want to switch jobs, whatever's going on. I can completely resonate with you because I have been feeling the same way. Like, all of these ideas are flowing and I want to make all these huge changes. And this is also where I, need to take a few steps back. And I'm sure you can resonate with that. So today's episode, if you are, just needing to make these big changes, these big choices, and you don't know where to start, you're ready for something new, this episode is for you. You may have heard me say now, big changes, big choices, and we're going to kind of dial back this episode and really break up the difference between changes and choices. Because although they may sound a little bit similar, like you're going to make a change in your life, you're making a choice to do something new, they can really have an impact on your path to fulfillment, your path to success, and really getting the things you want out of life and loving your amazing, beautiful life. So first, let's differentiate between the two. Changes is making something different. Simple as that. Now, choices is making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. Now, what I really want to break down today is big changes versus small choices. And you may know where I'm going with this, but stick with me because I really think what happens to many of us is when we feel stuck in a rut, when we feel ready to do something new, we go for the big change. And what comes to me is just like diet culture, something that we have seen for so long is if you need to lose 10, 20, 50 pounds, change your complete diet, cut out all the sugar that you've been eating, or cut out all carbs, cut out an entire food group, and you will lose the weight. And this can be applied to really any aspect of your life. Make this huge change, cut out certain people, cut back on all your finances. But what happens is it's not something that can be sustained long term. And this is where I'm at in my journey is I've lost almost 100 pounds. I hit almost 100. I was at 95 pounds and I put on about 15 pounds since then. And what I had realized, which I'm going to go more into in our next episode, so stay tuned for that, is a lot of the changes that I made, first of all, didn't come from a place of love, but it also didn't come from a place where I was focusing on all the little choices that I was making each day. So stick with me while we explore what I mean by this. I was talking with a friend the other day and we were just sharing how it's really been a lifelong battle in terms of our body and our weight. And it's always been a struggle, always needing to make these big changes so that we can feel just a little bit better. But are we really feeling that much better? And is it something that we can sustain? Like I said, this can really be applied to any part of your life, but for the sole purpose of this example, I'm going to refer it to what many of us can relate on, which is weight. What she was talking about is that she just feels this need to make a really big change in her life, like in terms of diet, in terms of physical movement. And it dawned on me, and this is something that I haven't even done myself, but it dawned on me that we make these huge changes, when we feel that we're just tired of the life that we've been living or tired of this doing the same thing every day and not really having that change, is that we're not really paying attention to the choices we have. Because like I said, changes is making something different, but the choices is making a decision when you have two or more possibilities at hand. And this is kind of where I dove into a complete spiral because I realized that everything that I've been doing, I'll cut out all dairy because those are all the things that I really enjoy and the things that I indulge in too much. But I didn't realize that every day I was making this small choice of eating the ice cream or eating way too much cheese or whatever it was. And I was making this big choice or big change, sorry, but I couldn't even pay attention to that little choice. And this is where we go into the whole concept of discipline and blah, blah, blah. But if you can get rid of that idea of, oh, you just need discipline, start paying attention to those little choices that you make every day. And I'll give you an example that's not applicable to weight. If you are really struggling with finances right now, and maybe you're not really paying attention to the sales at grocery stores, or you're going out for lunch or dinner with friends and you're picking one of the most expensive things on the menu. Or it could even be as simple as not paying attention to the gas prices. And today you've just made the choice to not even pay attention and just fill up your tank. Whatever. If it's empty, you got to do it. But you see where I'm going with this is that we make this big change sometimes. And in terms of finances, you'll just cut back on everything. You won't go anywhere. You won't do anything anymore. And you'll just stay home and not spend any money. But what's got you to where you are right now is those choices that you have, those possibilities that you have that you don't even pay attention to. If you want to go out for lunch with your friends, make it a habit to not pick the most expensive thing on the menu. If you want to lose weight, make it a habit to every time you put something in your mouth, that's a choice. Are you going to eat all of the food that's in front of you, or are you going to pick the other possibility of that you can enjoy the little plate that you have in front of you right now? And if you're still hungry, have something that will really fuel your body. I can completely resonate with these choices and changes, the difference between that. And I am always the one to jump into the big change instead of looking at my little choices. And when I had this aha moment, I was like, I have to come on here and share it with you guys. And essentially, we don't struggle with change. It's not losing the weight. It's not saving the money. It's not getting in the argument with someone that doesn't deserve your energy. But it's those little choices that we struggle with. It's the little choices of setting boundaries with others. It's the little choices of setting boundaries with the food that we're going to put into our body or how we're going to move our body. The choice, it can go on and on. Like now it's like taking the stairs or taking the escalator. Those little choices that we make that make those big changes at the end. So really, essentially, it's not about the big change, but the small choices that lead you to that big change. And that's where we skip a step, is we're not looking at those little choices that we're making that can make that big change. And we're just expecting a substantial, huge change in our life that can be sustained for the rest of our life. And at the end of the day, what I want you to take from this episode is going back to where choices are making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. I want you to change your mindset on these choices, because how I explain them and how you may be looking at them is really that win-lose situation. You really want that second piece of cake, and if you're not going to get it, you're losing, right? But taking that mindset of you're winning or losing to you're losing or you're changing. That choice is what changes you. When you neglect the ability to acknowledge that you have a choice, that's when you're losing. So that's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed talking about it today. It was really on my heart. I love you all so very much, and a friendly reminder to not only be kind to others, but also to your beautiful, amazing self.